Oh, I can't hear anything.
Good morning, sir.
Yeah, good morning.
Good morning, sir. I trust you are doing very well, sir.
Yes, I'm good. Are you?
I'm very well, sir. We'll start shortly. We're just waiting for a few more people to join, then we would start.
Okay, no problem.
All right, thank you so much, sir.
Okay, you're welcome.
Okay, good morning, everyone. I trust that you are doing well. Our members will be joining us shortly. I believe maybe it's because of the Valentine morning. That's why they are still struggling to join us, but hopefully we'll have a larger house in a bit. So I would like us to start our welcome orientation session with an introduction and prayer from our Consuj president, Dr. Oluwadamilola, if she's here, if she doesn't mind welcoming us into the whole agenda of the day. Ma'am, over to you.
Good morning, everyone. I trust you are all doing very well. Shall we pray, please? Our Lord and our God, we want to appreciate you for a time like this. Thank you for the gift of life. Thank you for your presence that has always been with us. Lord, we ask that as we proceed, that you will be with us in the name of Jesus. We ask, Lord God, that you open our understandings and make us fulfilled in Jesus' name. For in Jesus' name we have prayed.
Amen.
I want to appreciate everyone our special guests who have been here, Professor Tino Adeoju. Thank you very much, ma, for coming. And Mr. Adeyemo, thank you so much, sir, for making our time to be here. So this program is basically an orientation program for new students. The whole idea is to intimate the new students who are just coming into UJ or some of the other universities around South Africa. The aim is actually to intimate them on what to expect and how to navigate the academic terrain, immigration issues, and documentation. So that's why it's not a general program for everyone. It's for the new students, and that's why we have a little bit of a lean house. But I'm sure that other people, some returning students, would also join us as we proceed. So I'll just hand over back to the GenSec who would be moderating the section. Once again, I want to appreciate everyone for coming, and I wish you a blissful section. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Ma, for that brief overview. And thanks to our early birds who are already here and our guest speakers. So to our next agenda on the program, we'll be having our first section, which is by Prof. Tino Adeojo. I will just be sharing my screen now so that we can have an overview of what she's about to, or who she is as a person. So just give me a second. Let me share my whole screen. All right. So is my screen visible to everyone? Just confirm.
Yes, please.
Okay. So let me move here. So now we're in our first session, the act of academic writing and research expectations. And our speaker is Prof. Tinade Adekambi Ojo. I hope I did that right. And she's an associate professor in the Department of Politics and International Relations at the University of Johannesburg, where she serves as an honors research coordinator. She is also the director of the Center for Study of Race, Gender, and Class. Her research spans around gender, political economy, including the gender dimensions of trade, financial inclusion, the SDGs, and the digital transformation in public policy and governance. So this is a whole package that we have in front of us that will be speaking to us about academic writing and research expectations. So I don't know if we get our jotting pads ready. We have quite an experienced professional in the house who would be taking this session. Ma, are you in the house? I'll be handing over to you now.
Good morning, everyone. I hope I'm audible.
Yes, you are.
Yes,
Thank
ma'am.
you. Thank you so much, Chair. And good morning, colleagues. I would like to acknowledge Mr. Adeyemo. Thank you so much. It's good to see you on this podium. We were still together on Wednesday.
Thank you,
you.
madam.
You're welcome. And before I start, I would like to know the caliber of students who are here. Are we addressing the postgraduate and the undergrad or strictly the postgrad?
I would think we're addressing both. I know some here are postgrads. However, there are some that I really can't say. So I would want to say we are a mixture, ma'am.
Okay. So that I will know how to address the topic, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Um, let me know if you can see my screen.
Yes, I
Yes,
can.
ma'am, I
Yes.
can.
Okay, great. So I will quickly, I wanted to make it very short, but I saw that you actually gave me a lot of time. So I guess we need to really get into the act of writing, right? Thanks for the introduction. As they've rightly said, I'm in the Department of Politics and International Relations, but also the director for the Center for Race, Gender, and Class within the university, which is a research center, by the way, and where we're actually expected, right, to conduct detailed research that has to do with the issue of race, gender, and class in Africa, right? And that has positioned me to work with different delegates, different stakeholders, both within the public-private sector, the NGOs, the CSOs, the diplomats, the embassies, and so on and so forth, and other academic institutions. So we'll really be talking on the act of writing, right? And how do we really conduct research? What are our research expectations within a university when you're about to proceed? And I love this step because this is what I actually like showing my students when we're about to start, you know. So at this phase of your life of which you're about to emerge, is a new journey. Um, the step you take is very, very important, you know, and each day signifies a certain step in what you're expected to do. Okay. We have different people in the university, right? And even in life, um, there are people in different categories with different personalities, different expectations in life. And that will determine your journey, your association, your determination, and what you expect to do. So there are always people at the local that will tell you that I want to do it. I just can't. Because as you move on, you see, there is no easy journey, right? Especially when it comes to postgraduate studies. And there are some people that just take a step and say, you know what, I can't. Some are motivated, I want to do it. And some will ask, how do we really do it? Others are saying, okay, you know what, I will try. If I jump, I will jump. I can do it. I will do it. And, eventually, hopefully, you'll be able to get to that stage where you said, yes, I did it. So let's reflect on yeah, what we are expected to do. Today I'm going to be talking on writing and research, the process, the challenges, the strategies, the paragraph construction, and how to really foreground your voice when you want to conduct research or you are writing. Okay. I'm a teacher, so I'm going to expect a lot of engagement. For now, I'm using a full podium, but if there is any hands up, please, I will appreciate the chair or the president to notify me in that as we move on, right? The first state of writing, right? We categorize that into 5 different stages in life. We have the pre-writing, we have the drafting, we have the revising, the editing, and the publishing stage. And each of these stage ensure that you create at least a piece of writing, right, that is well thought out and that your target audience will receive generously. Because of AI, most people have turned AI into their writing scheme, unfortunately. But in a scholarly environment, right, in an academic environment, which I believe most of you have already engaged through the certain process. Some have undergone the undergrad and about to proceed to the postgraduate stage. And there are people in the postgraduate stage who are moving to a deeper level of academic scholarship, right? And as you move on step by step, you are expected to produce a scholarly output, right? So when we write, in academics, we are expected to produce a writing that contributes to knowledge production, right? Not just a repetition of existing knowledge, that is what has been there before, but you actually contributing to a unique aspect of research, um, and for grounding your voice, like I've said or indicated earlier. And this, it's divided into 5 stages. So at every point in time when you want to write, you're expected to do a sort of pre-writing where you have, I call it the blueprint stage, where you have the idea. It talks about your positionality. It talks about the research gap, what you want to identify, what you want to contribute into, and so on and so forth. So you have that sort of blueprint there, and then you start your drafting, right? Where you start writing each section, segment by segment, and eventually get into the revising stage where you go back to revise and see if your words are aligning, if your paragraphs are flowing logically together, if there's the issue of the sentence sequence are actually aligning well. And then you now edit, and at the same time, you now send it through for publishing. But the question is, why do we write, right? What's the essence of writing? Why must I write? Why must I do my assessment? Why must I write a policy brief? Why must I write my research dissertation or my thesis? If you're a doctoral student, why must I write? If you're a postdoc, why do I need to write an article? Why do I need to write books or book chapters? So the essence of writing is, vast, and I've just penned down 7 points on the reason why writing is very important. So the first one, I will say that writing has to do with knowledge sharing, right? Where academic writing disseminates research findings to a broader audience. So you need to be able to project a certain findings on what you have found, and bring it to the audience so that you can have a sort of collective understanding, and advancement in the field. Secondly, writing has to do with evidence-based argument, right? Where you allow others to evaluate the validity and reliability of your research or of what is in existence, right? It has to do with credibility and rigor, right? And that is why most often when we write, it goes through a rigorous process, which is credible, and sometimes it has to be evaluated by peer review. We also write due to documentation and replication. That's how you got your textbooks, the books and everything that has been done before, because some people decided to, document it down, the research methods, the findings, to enable other researchers who are upcoming to replicate studies. I always tell people there is no new thing under the hat, right? So as much as possible, if you say you have an idea and say, oh, this is a unique one, someone has already done it. What you need is to understand the gap in that and you contributing to that. And so building on existing knowledge, verifying the result, replicating the studies. That is what it has to do with. The fifth one is about professional development, where you engage in academic writing by helping, researchers into critical thinking, that's a deeper level. As you move on in your postgraduate studies or in your studies, you have to be analytical, to be able to have a communication skills, which is essential for your professional growth. So academic writing enables us with our professional development. It projects who you are. In fact, we say it's your legacy. The sixth one has to do with policy and practice influence, where you conduct writing so that you influence policy decisions. So we work a lot with policy stakeholders. I was part of the T20 last year in South Africa, and most of the programs and all that was informed to influence the G20 summit, of which we had to write a policy brief aligning with that, right, on different themes. So it helps to influence policy decision, for us to be able to present the best practices within the field and to lead a societal benefit as much as possible. And lastly, I would say, of course, for academic record and recognition, right? So you will write so that it can impact our career advancement. So you can't say you are a doctor today, or you are, from doctoral student to a PhD holder. Of course, your writing enabled you to get to that phase, from a master student to a master, right? Because at that stage you become a master in your discipline. So that's an academic record and recognition. So these are the things that the key reasons why we write in higher institutions, right? However, it has its own challenges, as much as possible. The first challenge is not knowing where to start. And I believe there are a lot of people in this phase, like I said, AI has taken over to the extent that the writing skills in today's generation tend to be a bit poor, because people cannot even phantom the beginning, the face of what they need to do. So that's always a challenge with people, not knowing where to start, right? And at that point in time, there are a lot of confusions in what you are expected to do. And challenge two is worrying your idea is not good enough. I've met a lot of students that say, this is what I want to do, but I don't know if this is good and all those things. But that is the essence of mentors supporting the system to ensure that and supervisors, to align your idea into a researchable process, right? The third challenge is always about stopping, how to stop to write in order to pursue a competing idea. So some people, they just feel that, Dami is writing something that is very nice, and I think I would like to go along with that. So rather than pursuing a research or an idea that is impactful, you rather go for a competing idea. And at that phase, people get lost in the system, because you are rather pursuing someone else's ideas rather than yours. The fourth challenge is being an over scrupulous editor. You are too detailed and you are just all over the place. You are not focused. You are not directed in actually what you actually want to do. And the fifth one is actually finding time to write. And it happens most often to foreign students, basically because some have to hustle, some have to work, and life happens, and you just find that you're unable to meet up with what is expected of you because you are in a new environment entirely. And the sixth one is getting a writer's block, right? It happens to a lot of us. Sometimes you write and write, and you just get to that stage when you get burnt out if you are not careful, or you're not passionate about what you're writing, and you get what we call the writer's block. You are just stuck and you can't write again. And the last one is feeling isolated, again, as a foreign student in a strange land, in a strange community, strange culture. So the culture shock is there already. A strange environment, strange rules, strange policies, which you need to learn, and actually finding yourself alone, in a community. And that is why, the Nigerian Student Forum are formulating these kinds of programs so that you do not get isolated, right? Further ones, I've spoken about time. It's also about knowledge. The way of teaching, where some of you are coming from, and the way of you conducting research, where you are, in fact, is totally different from what is happening here. So you need to be knowledgeable on the teaching and learning policies and how to align yourself to that. And it's very important, mentoring, it's very, very important to get the right mentors to align with. I've said about the issue of overwhelming, where to start the writing process. The lack of support is also there, and competing demands and initial failure, thinking that you will fail. So how do we project all this? Where do we start from, right? When you say you want to write, how do I start? I tell people there is no other way to writing. There is no other way to art of writing. There is no other way to education except to write. So the first step is write. Write. You have to write, right? And you have to motivate yourself that you need to write. And with writing means you need to go and do your research, learn, read, study on what you are expected to do, and start writing, right? Write, then practice your craft, practice what is a thematic focus that you want to write upon. Play with the words, read, write about what you find fascinating, what you think ignore that lame advice. I always say that lame advice of write what you know. No, be creative. I tell people, as researchers, you are expected, even if you are walking on the road and you find a new car design, you should ask yourself, how did this car came to be? You find a new designer in clothes. It's not for you to just admire that. What led to this innovation? That is what brings about inclusive, your inquiries, for you to be able to understand what is unraveling around you. They are talking about new iPhone. What makes it to be the new latest iPhone? What led to the robots you are seeing around, the drones you are seeing around, right? What are the new things that are coming in, and what was the brain behind it? Why? So you need to understand the why. You need to be inclusive. You need to understand, right? For you to be able to unravel and understand the research gap on what you need to do. So what is happening in global politics? Why is this happening in Asia, in Europe, in Africa? What are the things? What is happening within the political economy? Right? What is happening within the educational discipline? So these are the things you need to unravel. So don't be afraid to look for things that are fascinating, right? That is how you become a good researcher, right? And that is how you are able to understand your we call it positionality in humanities, where that is your position. Where are you standing? What do you understand? What is your own perspective of life? So if Smith 2018 is talking about sustainability, climate change, and evolution, like climate change and green transition. What is your own position to that? What are the related experience? If they're talking about youth unemployment, right? What is your own opinion about that? What is your position on that? So these are the things you need to look at. So don't be afraid to go and check, revise your work as you go. You tackle your time. Whenever I'm writing, during the day, it's just a matter of discipline, and you just need to keep yourself disciplined. And that's why I put it there that you need to allow yourself time to do your best work, right? You need to be disciplined about that, because the truth is that you will not find the time to write. You can see I put that in a capital letter. You cannot find the time to write. You need to make the time. And that is discipline, right? And allow for the plenty of revising time so that you can go again to what you're writing and you can check it again and again. When I was doing my doctoral degree, I was already married. I had three kids, and I was working full time here in SA, and I just had to find the me time for me to finish. I call it my me time, ME, right? For me to be able to finish my doctoral studies, because I needed it. And I just had to get that, right? So I created the time. When it's break time at work, I was working in a private college. I was the head of research. If others are making noise, the students are shouting, colleagues are shouting. During that break time, I'm doing my writing. Anytime I have a 30 minutes break, I'm on my walk. And that is how you make your time, even if life gets hard, right? So you must be accountable to that. You must be able to track your word count, if possible, get a spreadsheet or put it in your planner and write. Get yourself a writing partner. It's always good to have a colleague or group where you can share pages and get feedback. So what we also do, we call it the writing clinics, or the writing days. It can be a Friday where everybody's accountable to each other, and we say, okay, you know what? I'm writing 1,500 words today. And we all work towards that, and we keep our mouth shut. And when it's 4-5, then everybody comes for a meeting, and then we account. Oh, I was only able to write 500. I was only able to write 7. I got to 1,000, but at least you wrote, right? Each person wrote something and you are moving. So there's accountability. So get yourself a writing partner, a group as much as possible. Keep writing, don't stop to research or check details, especially when you are on the roll, like you are the writing is flowing. It's not every day that you get into that act of writing, but when you are actually in that mood, just keep on writing, and then you can go back later to check, right? So plan your writing sections, and as you are doing that, it's also important to exercise, take your walks, get outside, go on dates, enjoy yourself, do some creativity cross training, and ensure, I know that AI is working, computer is there and all that. I always like the traditional way. I write first in my book, and before I transfer that to the computer. And because of that, I was only able to get 3% plagiarism, after writing 378 pages for my thesis. So it helps you when you identify yourself with that. So the question is, writing a research paper, how do I project? How do I do that? When we talk about research, we are going into research now. But before I go further, is there any question? Anyone? Are we good?
Yes, we are.
Okay. So for you to start a research, I've projected that earlier on. The first thing is identify the topic that you want to go into, right? What is the topic? What is my discipline? What is my niche? And I always tell people, see, whatever you venture doing now determines your future, right? So don't just identify something that will not positively contribute to you having a podium, right? When I wanted to do my doctoral degree, I got into reading on the issue of, it just struck me that there are a lot of women, right, here in SA, including the locals, who are involved in black tax, right? And when we say black tax, most of their earnings go into their family, extended family, and all that. And because of that, they don't have a long-term investment. So when you talk about, no matter the role they have, the grade they have, women do not really project in long-term investment because they, even according to the African culture, the man is expected to provide for the family, right? And they project that is the role of the man to buy a house, right? Buy the land. Even if a woman wants to own a land, to own a business, she needs a man to stand, as a guarantee. So women do not have that long-term investment or long-term financial security. And the thematic focus on financial inclusion became a niche for me, right? In Africa. And I started reading. The more I started reading, I started getting more and more interested in that. And as at that time, though, that was a focus in which it was just emerging. So I would say that I was part of the first researchers who started looking into the issue of financial inclusion and financial architecture for women in Africa. And that was actually what placed me on the global scale. That was the landing mark in my career. And I became a global speaker before I knew it, right? Going to different countries to pitch on that. So what I'm saying is that do not just say that this is what I want to do. At this phase is a phase of you searching what will give me a global record, because you don't just want to be a local researcher. You don't just want to earn a certificate. What can I project that will make me a scholar, right? That will foreground my voice and give me that recognition within the niche, right? So those are the things you need to look into. Identify a significant topic. So I always tell my students, we are coming under me to do a research, you need to look into something that will set your pace. It will set your career, right? So that you also, when you are doing the writing, because as you are writing, it gets harder, but you get motivated because you know that you are contributing something significant into the political economy, right? Something significant into the society. So that is very important. Identify a topic, and not just a topic that will foreground your voice. So write that down. When you've done that, you write an outline of what you want to do, and then you do a research on that. Summarize the research, what has been said, what has been done, then what angle. That will now give you an idea of which angle you want to approach that topic, right? When you look into that, it tells you your dependent variable, your independent variable, and the scope of the study in itself, and what you actually need to do, and the methodology you need to use, and what is the research gap, the problem statement. So it strengthens your research. When you are able to do that, then you identify the journal. If you are working on your thesis or your dissertation, then you start writing your rough draft, okay? And then once you've done your draft, you go into editing, finalizing it, and then submitting for publication. But most importantly, the things you need to do during these processes is for you to know yourself. What is your writing style? How do I write? Right? How do I write? I see someone raising their hands. Toluwani. Toluwani, yes?
Yes, ma'am. Just sorry to interrupt. We have
Yeah.
about 10 minutes left in this
Okay.
particular section. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you for that. So know yourself, compartmentalize your research and prioritize, your deadlines, how to keep them, curb your time. I've said that, So the question is, where are you in your research, right? So I'm going into how to understand your research expectations now, right? How do you understand your research expectations? What are the core purpose of research in higher education? The first thing you need to do is the knowledge production and the advancement of discipline. So I've said that we do research for knowledge production, for you to get advancement, for you to contribute to national and global policy debates, for you to address societal and developmental challenges, and also to enhance the institutional reputation and ranking, right? So as much as possible, research is important to demonstrate originality, rigor, and impact, okay? So when we conduct research for you guys in the postgraduate stage, the undergrad, you are expected to do your normal coursework, and during your final year, you write a small research paper, right? Which you will learn along the undergraduate. But for the postgrad, you know that as you start learning how to write in your dissertation. And at the same time, if you are a master's or a doctoral student, you're expected to produce a scholarly output for the university. And masters must publish at least one academic paper, and PhD should have at least two before they graduate. So this warrants you into looking into peer-reviewed journal articles, publishing academic books or book chapters, your conference papers and proceedings, if you've done conferences, writing policy brief and commissioned report. So all these papers which you are going to be writing in the university are expected to be in accredited or high impact journals. And, the citation impact and research feasibility is very important, including you getting funding acquisition with that. So how do you conduct this research? You need to understand your methodological rigor, the methods which you are expected to do. So it waivers from faculty to faculty. There are some faculties that you just need to publish and then you graduate. There are some faculties that you need to conduct a research for you, for you to get your degree and also publish at the same time. So all these things you need to understand the standard within the space that you have. And the theoretical framework is very, very important. Every research must have a theoretical contribution, and you understanding the ethical compliance and research governance within the university. All those packages are there for you. And as much as possible, ensure that there's transparency and reproductivity in what you're doing. That is, your research is researchable. Someone can go back to that and also do the research. Also, avoid plagiarism. People plagiarize a lot, and where we are coming from, we don't even understand that until you get to this space. So as much as possible, please make sure you understand what plagiarism represents and you avoid it. and ensure you are responsible for your writing and data management. I'm going to skip this part. The part of supervision, mentorship, and capacity building is very important, right? You are expected to be assigned to different supervisors to mentor you. So ensure that you understand your supervisor, read their works before you approach them. Ensure that whatever you are doing aligns with what they want. Then you will not really be in trouble. And I believe the reason why you chose the supervisor in the first place is because you are interested in whatever niche that they are working on. So that is very important. There must also be co-authorship with students, as academics. So you are expected to, publish or write or conduct research with your supervisors, and of course the training workshops and all that. So the overall expectation in research is that there must be a balanced research productivity. There must be supervision, funding, if possible, societal impact within institutional performance frameworks. Okay, so ensure that whatever you do, whatever you want to indulge on, it's something that will contribute positively to the society, right? Ensure that you work on your habits. If you are lacking confidence, speak out. There is a community. If you don't understand the purpose or the clarity of the work you are in, please reach out. And I believe the mentors here will be able to assist you in whatever you do. So hard work is very important. I've spoken really into this, but what is quite important is critical reading, right? Whenever you want to do your research, ensure that your main arguments, the assumptions, the merit of arguments, everything is there. And check the weaknesses and the blind spot and see whether you agree to that or not. And when you want to cite an author, when you are writing, check the title, the author, the year, the publisher. In academics, we want current research. So that is very, very important. And for you not to waste your time, whenever you come across a book, an abstract, a paper, you just quickly go through the abstract, the bibliography, the introduction and conclusion, and see whether that paper will be relevant to your writing or not. So whenever you are writing, check all these spaces, make use of colors to highlight whatever point you want, and that is important. So this is the point I want you to take with you today on writing. The part of paragraph construction is very, very important, where you have the topic sentence and the supporting sentence. The topic sentence is what you are, the main idea you are expressing in that paragraph, right? So it's not that you are talking about youth unemployment and then you wrote one sentence on youth unemployment, then you jump to poverty. And then from poverty, you jump to conflict, right? No, your paragraph should be on youth unemployment and then followed by supporting sentences which will explain what youth unemployment is all about, giving examples, describing the causes, the effect, and all that. And as you are ending the paragraph, you link it with, you end it with a linking device. So I've put the example here on how to align your paragraph with each other so that your paragraph construction are well sequenced. I'll send the slide to the house. So make sure that your title is well in place, the introduction, which we call the handshake, tell us what you're about to do, the body of the work. Sorry, is someone talking?
Please go ahead, ma. I think that was a mistake, ma'am.
Okay. And so And there is logical arrangement and paragraph, sequence before your conclusion. So this is what constitutes a good writing in total. And I've set a table on linking devices as you write along the way. So these are very, very important. Because of time, I will send these slides, and I had a shorter one, and which I wanted to use for you guys. But I will just end here to say that writing is important, right? It can be integrated or separated. But what is important is that you understand the position of what you want to write. You understand the opinion of what you write. You understand the judgment based on the discussion. If that is not foregrounded in your writing, then yes, it gets confusing, and both the examiner, both your supervisor, or both your teacher or your reader or whoever is reading your work may get lost in that space. So ensure that you conduct a deep research to understand the context of what you want to talk about. You don't just go out and talk on a niche or on something which you don't really understand. The third point is that beware of emotional appeals. Some people get too emotional when they are writing, and that becomes a conflict of interest, one, and makes your work subjective, right? So you need to be able to write objectively so that you are able to say the facts, right? On what is actually at hand and what needs to be done. So that is that. You cannot just introduce a new information into something. You need to be able to integrate what has been done, where it has been done, the stage in which is it, which is the research gap, your positionality, and then you now had the aspect of what you need to have. So your work is not just a new information, it's something you are building on and which you are adding to the body of knowledge. So please always keep that in mind. And the last chord in a song is that don't, it must always linger in you as a writer, because that is what the reader wants to see. So the conclusion is very, very important. Make sure that you close the discussion, but you open up new direction. We call that recommendation or future research in your research. So to cap it all, again, I say the heart of writing is rewriting. Okay? So you need to write until you get it right. Okay, so, and that is that. I'm acknowledging Prof. Carsten here from UP. Thank you, everybody. I'm open up to questions now.
Thank you so much, Prof, for such a detailed and insightful session on academic writing. In case you joined us halfway, we were on the first session of the art of academic writing and research expectations. And Prof took us on a journey. So I don't know if you can use the chat to really applaud Prof. We'll be opening the house now for just 2 questions. If you have more questions or you would like to communicate more with Prof, we are going to leave her email in the chat so that you can even schedule a session if she's available. You can have a conversation online or on site, whichever one that she permits. So any questions from the house, any questions, any concerns, any observations, any feedback? In 45 seconds now, anyone, you can use the chat, you can use the mic, anything that you would like to ask our professor. And if you prefer mailing her directly, we will drop it in the chat box. Okay, I'll just give 30 seconds to anyone going, and then we can close it and move on to the next section. Okay, so we have a question from our president, Ma. Ma, you can go ahead.
Thank you very much, Prof, for that insightful section. I think I picked a few things that would help me going forward. However, you mentioned something which I would just like to clarify, because this is not the first time I'm hearing it, and I would like that you expatiate on it. When you were talking, you said we should pick our writing style. So I've heard that a lot of time, choose your writing style. For me, I think I just feel once you want to write, the only thing that differentiates your writing is the referencing style, maybe the upper or Vancouver, but hearing it coming up over and over, I would like you to expatiate on that a bit. What do you mean by writing style, ma'am?
Okay, thank you for that. So when we say writing style, right? It's vast. It's your personality. In fact, it's shaping who you are. So for some people, their writing style is versatile, right? For some people, the writing style is objective. For some people, the writing style is information driven, right? To set a clear, accurate, and concise answers. For some people, so when we say writing style, we are talking of the adaptable tone and voice, right? Where you are able to shift from professional to technical. Are you friendly in your tone when you're writing? How do you structure your writing, right? What's the objective and the analysis in your writing? So how do you, express yourself in your writing? So if you read mentors, scholars or people before you, there's a certain structure of writing for everybody. So everybody in my field now, I can tell you that 1, 2, 3, if I see a paper and they put somebody's name, if I scan it through, I know how that person writes. So if it's not that person's work, I can say, no, you know what? Maybe your name is here, but maybe you write with a postdoc or you write with someone else, but this is not your tone. I don't know if you understand. So the act of writing, simply means how you adapt your tone, ranging from the formal and authoritative to casual and conversational, and like you have rightly said, it's also your niche also, what do you prioritize, what do you talk about? So if you want to see Ojo now, everything she writes aligns with women's studies, is women's studies and the SDGs, right? And that is who she is. And there is a particular way in which I write. I write to inform. So I write informatively, right? And in order to propose or influence policies. And that has always been my narrative, my way of writing. So what is your tone? What are you bringing into the table, right? For some of you in sciences, yours may be a constructive writing, right? It may be an objective writing, and so on and so forth. It depends on your niche. It depends on your voice. It depends on what you are actually into. So I hope that is clear.
Yes, ma. Cleared now, ma.
Yes.
Thank you, ma.
So your writing style defines who you are, and it also depends on what you do going forward. So you cannot see me now going to write with someone who is always writing against, we have the activists, right? Who are real activists. And when they write, you could see the heavy tone, you know. But I cannot write with such person. Not that I may support what they are, what they are flagging, but my niche of writing or my way of presenting my own fact is different from that, right? So your writing style is very, very important, especially if you want to be in this line, in this academic line. It's because that determines who you are, your tone, your legacy, and that is what people see. Yeah, I hope I'm able to answer your question now.
Yes, ma. Thank you very much, ma.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Prof, once again, and thank you everyone who have made the time to be here. We will be moving to our next session. Let me share my screen now. We're moving to our next session because of our time. We will not allow any room for any other questions. So we'll be dropping her mail, Prof's mail in the chat now, in case you have anything more, in more details to share that she can assist with. So
I hope you have it right.
huh?
I said, I hope you have it. But it's fine. It's just my first name with O. Just say Tinuade O at uj.ac.za.
Oh
So thank
yes,
you
we
for
have it.
having me. Thank
Yes,
you.
we
Bye.
have it. Thank you so
Thank
much
you very
for
much, Prof. Thank you, ma.
being here with us. Thank you so much for making the time. We have your mail and we'll be dropping it in the chat. I just wanted to move to the next speaker that would be assisting us with all the conversations on documentation, immigrations, and all these consulate matters. And that would be, the session will be headed by Mr. Adeyemo. I'll quickly read his bio now. Mr. Adeyemo serves as an immigration office official at the Consulate General of Nigeria in Johannesburg, contributing to a citizen-centered service delivery and engagement with the Nigerian community. Through the mission's public-facing channels and service desks, he supports access to essential consular functions, including citizens' help and advisory support, passports-related services, and documentation processes, helping residents navigate requirements clearly and efficiently. He also supports community-facing programs that promotes responsible documentation practices and strengthens the relationship between Nigerians in South Africa and the consulate. So without much further ado, Mr. Adeyemo, you have the floor, sir.
Thank you very much. I hope you can hear me.
Loud and clear.
Yes, sir, we can hear you, sir.
Yeah, just good morning. Good morning, Nigerian students in Johannesburg. Thank you for welcoming me. I just resumed in the consulate in December, and I'm very happy to be here. Firstly, I want to appreciate the president, Mrs. Eson Oluwadamilola. Thank you for inviting me. And I want to appreciate the federal government, the Ministry of Interior, and our Comptroller General for making it deemed for me to represent Nigerian Immigration Service in Johannesburg. Having said that, I would like to correct one impression. Mine is on immigration, we are professional immigration officers working at the consulate. There are other consulate matters that I will just mention them, but I will not delve into them fully, just for a reason best known to me. But I will mention some of those services which are available on the consulate's website. The consulate website. Thank you so much. Having said that, I would like this session to be very practical, because as a student, Nigerian student in foreign land, I'm very sure that all of you have international passport and you obtain visa before coming to South Africa, unless if you are born here. Hello? I hope you are, is it clear, right? Hello?
Yes,
I
it's
hear
clear,
you.
sir.
Yes,
It's
please.
clear.
What I'm trying to say is that all of you have international passport, but the little time that I spent here, I will start with some mistake that I always see, or some advice and important thing to note in respect of your passport or passport renewal or fresh application. For some of you that are married, maybe you want to do international passport for your children. Some of your children are having foreign passports, South African passports, and others. I would like to share some important things to you. Please, I'm sorry I don't have a glide because of the busy schedule in the office. Even today, I'm still going to the office. One, I want to make it clear that the production of passports now is no longer done in South Africa. It's not done in Johannesburg. Passport is not produced in Abuja. There's a centralized production center in Nigeria. So we have to be aware that passports is no longer produced here. We do the biometric is done here, then is transferred automatically to Abuja for production. So in view of that, I want to employ the Nigerian students in South Africa that you should always apply for your passport on time. Always apply on time. In fact, because of the importance that the federal government places on the Nigerian students and on Nigerians in diaspora, you have a 1 year opportunity before your passport expires that you can apply for your renewal of your passport. 1 year. In Nigeria, it is 6 months, but in diaspora, it's 1 year. So you have an ample time for you to apply for your passport so that it will be produced on time and to avoid disappointment. You know, though the Minister of Interior, Honorable Dr. Olubimitunji Ojo, and the Comptroller General, Mrs. Kamila Nanda, they are making this sure that even as passports is being produced in Nigeria, within 2 or 3 weeks or a month thereabout, passport produced in South Africa is always back and ready for collection. Also, for international students and Nigerians, please, you must always ensure that you check your international passport often. Some people, maybe it will remain just 1 week. They will be rushing to the Nigerian consulate for them to be able to renew their passport. That shouldn't be. Please, we should set a calendar. Some people, they don't know. In fact, I've seen somebody that got to the airport before realizing the passport is expired. And that is not too good. That is not too good. I want also to state that before you apply for passport, you must have your NIN. That is the National Identification Number obtained from NIMC. In fact, that is the first primary document that you need, the number that you need before you can apply for passport. Though in one of this thing you want me to talk about the NIN, how you can get it, though actually it is not our area, but at the same time, since you live in South Africa, there are some agencies that done that. Most especially, if you want to do your NIN, if you don't have, you can visit OIS office at number 6 Bolton Road. OIS office, 6 Bolton Road. That's at Rosebank. That is where the former consulate was located. If you get there, they'll be able to assist you with the NIN. Having said that, please, before you proceed to apply for your international passport, please make sure that you have some other documents saved on your phone, maybe on the gallery or your document with your white background passport photograph. Because by the time you start applying for passport, it will require you to upload all those documents. Okay, another thing to note is that captioning for Nigerian students and other Nigerians is always on Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday, while we dedicate Wednesday and Friday for collection. I want us to know that also. Yeah. Now, going properly to the passport application. As a Nigerian student, you are very learned. Some of you are doing your PhD. I want us to disabuse the use of agents because passport application now is online. It's what you yourself can do. You can do it by yourself. You don't need to employ anybody to apply for your passport for you. Please just go to the immigration website at passportintl.immigration.gov.ng. That is the passport application for international students, and it's online. It's something that you can search on your Google and all the rest. Immediately you put passport international, it will pop up. From there, it will allow you to save to put in your profile. To save your profile, your email, and your password. It will require it. From then, you can proceed to applying for your either fresh passport for your children or for renewal of your passport. And in fact, immediately you sign, you will see all the passport application services that you can apply for. You can apply for fresh passport. You can apply for renewal or issue of your passport. You can apply for correction of data, most especially for those that are married. You want to change your surname to husband name. What you need to do is to apply for correction of data. After saying that, before going forward, there is a column there that can enable you to test your photo. You know, that is the area that most people used to make mistake, or they will say the photo is not accepting it. You can test your photo. The photo you need to put need a high resolution. You can use a high resolution camera to capture on a white background. Then before proceeding, you can test your photo upload. Immediately you click the photo upload, it will tell you to upload your photo. When you upload, it will tell you whether it is okay or not. It will tell you whether it is ICAO compliance or not. If it is not, you can take another photo, another good one. And you will see that at the end of the day, it will tell you that it is ICAO compliance. From then, you can proceed to put your name. It will tell you you're applying for renewal. You have to put your name. In fact, it's self-explanatory and is very straightforward. And that is what the Honorable Minister and the Nigerian Immigration Service have been able to do. In fact, it's very seamless, very easy to apply. So it will tell you to put your name, you are applying for renewal, it will tell you to put the old passport number. In fact, immediately you put your NIN, it will pop up your information on your NIN. Please, may I tell you, please make sure your NIN is verified before you even apply, most especially for those applying for fresh. For those applying for fresh, you must verify your NIN to make sure that it's the same way that your birth certificate is, or that of your children. That is the way your NIN must be. The surname, the first name, the middle name, the date of birth, everything must synchronize. Because anything that is on your NIN, that is the way your application must be. For those of us that are doing renewal, thank God, your NIN is already verified, and the same information you have on your previous document, that is the same thing that will come out when you come for your biometric. So for renewal of passport, let me talk more of that, because as a Nigerian student, most often you need your international passport. Please, the major document we need is for you to upload the previous passport, the data page, and your birth certificate. I mean, your old document, the data page, and the birth certificate. Those are the two major important documents. Sometimes they ask for the local government identification certificate. If you have it, upload it. If you don't have it, you can put other documents. Sometimes we overlook it. So that is that. For those that are born in South Africa, by the time you are processing the application, it will ask you whether you are born in South Africa, that you should upload the data page of a South African passport. Please go ahead and do that. Because when we normally vet the document, we always see that some people always make mistake where they're supposed to put their birth certificate. They will upload maybe the data page of their passport and other things there. Is going to be queried. We are going to query it, and we are going to tell you to upload the proper document. So you have to check very well. When you want to apply those documents, make sure it is the document that is required that is uploaded. For the fresh, I will like to talk on minor. For some of our students that are married and you want to do passports for your children, please ensure that since they are born here, the foreign birth, there's a portion where we said upload the birth certificate. Please kindly upload the foreign birth certificate, the one from South Africa. Now, as a parent too, we always need your valid means of identification of at least one of the parents, either the father or the mother. Please, it needs to be uploaded. Also, the consent letter signed by both parents. In fact, or the court order. If you're a single parent, you might need the court order. But where both the parents are still together, we always want you to write the letter of consent signed by both parents. The reason is because we want to avoid a situation where one parent will say, I'm not aware that my wife or my spouse is doing the international passport for my son, or because of all this kidnapping and other cases, needs to be avoided. That is why we require that the consent of both parents are needed. Also, the data page. I think with that, then I've come to the end of the issue with passport. I will now go ahead with other consular matters, unless this anything that has to do with immigration is a practical thing. It's something that you need to ask questions, and I will have to give you answer. But before then, before you ask your question, please let me talk about other consular matters. I will just mention them. We have a consular officer that will be able to answer you properly. Not that I cannot answer, But sometimes we are not permitted to say some things because I will be infringing on other person's rights. So, but I will mention some of the other consular services that Nigerians in diaspora can enjoy, most especially in South Africa. Number one is in fact, all these things that I'm saying, they are on the website. Just find time to visit the consulate website, which is Nigerian Consulate sa.org. Is there. If you go to Google, just put Nigerian Consulate Johannesburg, you will see it, it will bring it up. Just check our services, is stated there. But I would like to talk about the consular recommendation letter, or the introduction letter. This consulate letter is the extra. Maybe you are in school, they need a proof that they want to confirm whether you are a proper Nigerian or something. Because I've seen somebody that came last week. They said the passport looks somehow, it looks suspicious, and the person came. In fact, the person called me that they want a letter to the university, and the letter was given. That is one of the consulate recommendation letter, or letter to the university. Another letter is maybe you are going for visa appointment in another country. You can visit the consulate. The consulate can give introduction letter to the embassy. Another one is the emergency traveling certificate. The emergency traveling certificate, we have some Nigerians. Maybe they have an emergency to go to Nigeria, and they cannot wait for their passport to be produced, or maybe they have applied for passport before, or they have not applied, but they need to get to Nigeria on time. There's what we call emergency traveling certificate. Is one of the consular services that is provided. So you can apply for it at the consulate, and within a day, it's going to be given to you. If you check the consulate website, you will see all the documents you need to bring, which is just your application and maybe the data page of your international passport to identify that you're in Nigeria before it can be given to you. Also, we have what is called a document authentication. That was what I was trying to tell you the other time, when the school need an authentication to say, oh, this international passport is genuinely issued by the consulate. If you come for that particular letter will be given to you. Also, we have what we call a marital status letter. You are single before, you are now married. You need to prove it, or you want to tell them you are still single. It's one of the documents that the embassy can give. We also have age declaration for some people that are born in Nigeria. You don't have your birth certificate, or your birth certificate is lost. You can come to the consulate. Age declaration will be done, and you have access to it. We have what we call dual citizenship requirement. There are some countries that you would like to visit. They want to know whether Nigeria accepts dual citizenship. That kind of letter can be given to you at the embassy. Also, we have what is called police character requirement. Police character requirement, that is one of the consular services also render. Maybe the police want to know whether you have good conduct. You can come to the consulate. That letter will be given to you. But the documentation, what you need, okay, you can check the website, please. Okay, I can see somebody raising hand. I can
Yes,
see
it's
somebody
me,
raising
sir.
hand, please.
Yes, it's me, your program chair. I just wanted to
Okay,
let you know that I just have 5 minutes on your session left.
okay, all
Thank you.
right. Okay, I'm almost finished. So we also have what is called the requirement for confirmation of death. God forbid, Barton, if we have any Nigerian that is dead or something happened to such person, you need a confirmation letter from the consulate in respect of that. And also we have what we call the requirements for human remains. Those are the kind of consular services that we render. I want us to know that we have a new ambassador, Ambassador Nini Uche, MNI. I want us to know that she's a very passionate person. She's a mother, and she is very open. She wants the Nigerian students, and I'm very sure, I think some of your representatives has been there. What is not happening in Johannesburg before in the consulate is now happening in past. When you visit our capturing area, you see changes. You see the children areas are well decorated. That is the kind of person she is. She has brought some new innovations, and she's open. If you have anything, if you have any problem, she's ready to listen. All what you need to do is to book appointment with her. Book appointment with her. And just like I said, if you need any information or any requirement about this processing of passport, please kindly visit the consulate website at nigerianconsulate.sa.org. Thank you very much. If you have questions, I'm open to the questions.
Thank you so much, Mr. Adeyemo, for the insights on the consulates, matters, and migrations and everything. So we would only just take 2 questions. But before I take the question from the hand that we have up, I wanted to ask if we could get your mail or something if students need to inquire if it's possible or if it's not possible.
I would like you to use the consulate email just for the best reason known to me. It's supposed to be an official thing. I would not like to give my personal email, but I know that 1 or 2 of you have my phone number. You can reach me on my phone number if you need any information, or if any of the students need to get in touch with me. I would prefer you call me maybe on my WhatsApp or on my Nigerian number.
Okay, no problem. Thank you so much. Okay, sir, you have the floor. Your hand is up. Sam.
Yeah.
Okay, go on.
Thank you. Good morning.
Good
morning, sir, Mr. Adeyemo. Thank you for the lecture. I just want to ask, the Nigerian embassy in Pretoria, do they render the same services as you have mentioned?
The Nigerian mission in Pretoria primarily render visa services and other consulate matters also. But anything that has to do with passport is meant for Johannesburg. That is why Johannesburg is a consulate. We render visa services, but majorly Pretoria does not render passport services. There too, you can get visas there and other consular services also.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much, sir, Mr. Adeyemo, for being here. We appreciate you for everything. We have another hand up. Please, that will be the final hand on this session so we can move on to the other sessions. And I see the hand is from NANSA, the NANSA president, which is actually coming up next after this session. But sir, you have the floor.
Okay. Good morning, everyone. Good morning, sir. Good morning, Mr. Adeyemo.
Good morning.
Sir, I just want to ask. You mentioned about marriage where passport is concerned, and I know sometimes last year we had a challenge with one of our scholars who actually got married to a non-Nigerian. She's a female. She got married to a non-Nigerian, and she needed to go through the process of Nigerian passports and change of name, which I know is a little bit different. When you are in Nigeria and you get married, you need to do publications and the likes. So we would like if you can throw a bit more light on that, where marrying a non-Nigerian or like even a Nigerian is concerned. What are the requirements if you're based in South Africa that helps speeds up the passport processing? Because I think they kept telling her she needs to refer back to Nigeria and all that, which was a big challenge for her. Yes, thank you, sir.
Thank you. I'm very happy that you said it's a Nigerian lady married to a South African or a foreigner. You know, the documents you just mentioned one of the documents, like the newspaper publication, the affidavit for change of name, your birth certificate. You know, all those documents. Those are the document required by the federal government for us to be able to process exchange of data for somebody marrying a foreigner, either a male or a female. You know, most especially the newspaper publication and the affidavits. The affidavits, you can do it in the consulate. We allow that. But the paper publication, why? With professionally, sometimes they always refer the person to contact maybe your family in Nigeria, let them do the paper publication, which can be done within 2 days. There's some newspaper now within 2 or 3 days, it will be done. You know, we will not want to fall foul of the law. This is the requirement from the government, and it's something that can easily done. We are all Nigerians. If you want to get your newspaper publication, it's something you have family there. You can just tell them, please, oh, I'm so, I want to be so, please quickly let me do the newspaper publication. I think that is the only document that is difficult, but it's not something that we cannot get. Please, because when we are vetting the application, if we didn't see it there, you know, at the back end, they are seeing what we are doing. We were vetting the document, and somebody put a wrong document, and we vet it. We can be issue query, and we will not like something like that. So the newspaper publication should be get from the. In fact, when you are marrying a foreigner, you are still a Nigerian. But the only thing now is that your surname is going to be changing. The other names are there. So it's not difficult. It's only the documentation which you need to get, and other things is easy. I wasn't here when you were saying, but I know that now I've seen some people that are applying and everything is okay. Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much, sir. Um, we appreciate you. God bless you. We'll be
Thank
moving
you.
on to the
Hello,
next
sorry.
session. Yes, sir.
Please, I don't know. I would like to excuse myself. I'm
Not a
still going to the
problem.
office. I don't know if you can permit me to be offline.
Yes, please. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you so much. Please feel free to call me if there is anything.
Yes, we will be sharing your contacts with the students when they need you.
Thank you so much.
Okay, President James from NANSA would like to share a few words with us. His hand is still up, actually. So, sir, you have the floor. Within 5 to 7 minutes, you can go ahead. Thank you.
Okay. Once again, good morning, Nigerian students in South Africa, and most especially the Consuj family. It's also my family. On behalf of NANSA, we would like to say thank you for this wonderful collaboration, for bringing us to be part of this program. And we hope all institutional leaders present at this meeting, or members of various institutions present at this meeting, vets and the likes that I've seen online, would also emulate such programs with their scholars. So an information got to us yesterday evening, and we had a lot of sleepless nights. And I wouldn't say that it's been resolved, because the affected person from what we learned, is now on our way back to Nigeria. Now, we just learned that it is not enough for South Africa to issue you a visa, whether for studies, visitors visa, or whatever. As the applicant or the person who has been issued the visa, you need to know or to be aware of every details of your application. Sorry, I don't know if I'm being audible. Ms. Toluani?
Loud and clear, sir.
Okay, thank you, ma'am. Okay, thank you, Madam President. So it is not enough for you to say, oh, yes, I've got a South African visa, or my visa has been renewed, and you leave the country. Let's say for somebody that is already a student here, and you leave the country and you're coming in back. You still need to be aware of every details of your application, because the immigration at the point of entry has the right to screen you. That is for those of us returning in, that we are already students with a renewed visa. If you now happen to be somebody that is a fresh student, or you know somebody coming in newly, and you are the one that did the application for the person, or the person used a third party, please advise the person to be aware of every little information that was filled in during the application. And if the person did fill it themselves, they need to be aware. Because just like US does, when they issue you visa, they put on their website that it doesn't guarantee you entry into the country. Yes, they've given you visa, like a US visa. It doesn't mean that when you get to the point of entry, when you land the United States, you already have access into the country. The immigration, as in US immigration, will still screen you and ask you questions. And if you fail those questions, they have the right to deport you, whether your document is legit or not. So we have a case of a student now whom we just landed yesterday evening after all the stress of how many hours flight. She had all her full documentation, everything. In fact, the immigration officers that the consulate spoke to said all her documents were intact and complete. We know she was given the admission. We know she's paid registration fees and all, but she failed the screening. And our question is, what is the screening about? No one is aware of screening. So we got to know that they've started screening people coming into their country, and this is not just Nigerians alone. So you will be screened, people will be screened, and they would only ask you questions pertaining to the form and applications you did fill in. So an example is, if by chance you are coming here to study, and you have an uncle or auntie that is based there, you have no business telling the immigration officer, oh, I am here to study, but I will be living with my uncle or auntie, or I'll be visiting my uncle or auntie. Automatically, you are giving a red flag that probably you are not going to return after your studies. The person can use their discretion to just screen you off. Or probably you have a spouse here that is already working and you're coming in with study visa because you want to advance your studies. You don't have to tell them, oh, my husband is already here, or my wife is here, or my child is here, I'm also coming to study. It's a red flag that none of you is going back home. And you are not only jeopardizing yourself, you are also putting that person you are mentioning at risk, because they could likely call the person and now start digging in. Is this person here for like education, or what is the visa criteria that this person has, and is this person sticking to that? So this is the new information we were privileged to have overnight yesterday. Unfortunately, from what we learned, even the international office from the person's school called, and they still had to send the lady back home. So we don't know what the outcome was. We don't know the type of questions she was asked, but NANSA has reached out to the family of the lady that once she lands Nigeria, we would like to speak with her to find out exactly what happened, what was her reaction also like during the screening process. and what was stamped on her passport to see if we can arrange and see if she can still get back into the country and make everything on ground. So this is the new information. Another information from the consulate office, from the CG's desk is, please, as Nigerian students, we are sure we all heard the issue of the boat driver who happens to also be a student. Please, when we are sharing information on social medias and we are reacting to posts that has to do with Nigeria, we have to be very, very careful. Investigate properly that the post you are commenting on has been well verified, and that your comment also is not coming out of emotions, because emotions are what causes most of all these government policies to change. A lot of things they found out at the consulate, where some policies regarding visas and the likes have changed, or the way Nigerians in quotes are being treated or extremely asked questions, is because of our disposition and our reactions on social medias, where we call ourselves out, we don't celebrate ourselves, we call the consulate out that they are not doing their job, whereas we don't actually know that they are doing their job. Example is this recent case of this boat driver. They've been investigating it even before it got to the students. The suspects have been apprehended, but there are students on social media saying the consulate is not doing anything, SAPS is not doing anything. Now imagine if SAPS sees those posts and say, oh, okay, we are already working on this, and this same student community are saying we are not doing anything. The next time they don't attend to us, what is going to happen? So basically, these are the informations from NANSA, but most especially, please share with your contacts in Nigeria. Whether your parents are coming for graduation purpose, they should stick with the graduation purpose. They shouldn't say things like, oh, my child is also working somewhere. They are only coming for your graduation is what they are coming for. That is what is in their visa. And if you are filling those visas as in visa application for like them, inform them. Remember, this is South Africa, is not Nigeria. Even if your dad or mom is 100 years old, they won't look at age. They will still send that person back home if that person fails their screening test. Thank you, Consuj, for this wonderful program. I hope there is no question, because I don't have questions on what type of questions they are asking them for the screening. I just messaged, but we'll also share this with all institutional leaders to share on their platform. Thank you, our anchor, Ms. Toluwani. God bless you.
Thank you, President James, for giving us the updates and everything, for always giving us updates back to back on all these things going on. We appreciate you so much for all the things you do for this family. And God help us, God help every one of us here to be on the safer side of things. So that we can end our orientation quick, I would like us to just move into the next speaker. This is going to be a health talk, a health conversation as researchers, as new students, and as people living in a different country. This is going to be very important for every one of us. And it will be, okay, she's already sharing her screen. I was going to read your bio, but this is fine. It's going to be edited by Dr. Cherry Yola. Yeah, Dr. Cherry Yola, which is a South African-based critical care nurse and nurse researcher whose work focuses on the ICU nursing practice and improving patient outcomes. She's here to tell us how we can live well. Ma, over to you. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Madam President. Can you hear me?
It's not the president, it's the general secretary, but yes, I can hear you.
Good morning, distinguished professors, respected colleagues, students. I would like to begin by sincerely thanking the organizers and all the speakers who have contributed to this session today. It's always encouraging to see such academic engagement within our community. Personally, I've learned a lot already. I also want to thank Professor Ojo for the insightful presentation on research. I've personally learned a lot, a great deal, particularly in the way research demands both intellectual discipline and strategic thinking. My name once again is Cherry Iyola, though I'm not using my Microsoft Team account at the moment. I'm a critical care nurse with over 16 years of experience, a researcher, and an academic. I am representing the Association of Nigerian Nurses and Midwives in South Africa, of which I am the General Secretary. It's a privilege to speak after a session focused on research because my topic today addresses something that directly influences research productivity, and that is our health. We often speak about methodology, data analysis, production strategy, publication, but we do not speak enough about the researcher. And this morning, I would like us to reflect on something foundational. How do we stay mentally and physically healthy while pursuing academic excellence? My focus this morning is going to shift slightly from research output to research sustainability. So I'm focusing more on the researcher. As students, especially as Nigerian students studying abroad here in South Africa, we often focus on one goal, which is success. We want to pass the course. We want to complete the thesis. We want to publish the paper. We want to graduate, on time, within record time. But there's something we rarely ask ourselves: at what cost to our health? As someone who has gone through postgraduate research herself and understand the academic system, I want to speak not just as a professional, but as someone who understands the pressure that postgraduate students go through in the name of study. Today is not just about mental health. It's about, our total health, holistic health, physical, mental health, emotional, and social well-being. Because if your body breaks down, your research slows down. If your mind is exhausted, your productivity drops. Health and academic performance are deeply connected. You cannot separate them. So now I'm moving on to the first slide. Why are we having this conversation? Why does this conversation matter? Globally, studies have shown that postgraduate students experience significantly high levels of stress, anxiety, and depressive symptoms compared to the general population. That does not mean that we are weak. It means that the system is demanding. In South Africa, students also face financial strain, especially, international students. We have to convert naira to rands. Some of us, we are not here on scholarship. We face financial strain. We face uncertainty with our visas or permit. We face, social adjustment problem, distance from our families, high cost of living, and so on. And many Nigerian students, they have this additional pressure I must succeed for myself and for my family. That responsibility can be very heavy on us. So now I want to talk about the hidden cost of, chronic stress. These responsibilities and all these pressures, it leads to stress. When we are constantly stressed up, our body releases cortisol, which is the stress hormone. We all know that cortisol is the stress hormone. In short term, cortisol helps us to focus, so it has its own advantages. But when it remains elevated for weeks, for months, or years, it contributes to a lot of problems like, weight gain, elevated blood pressures, insulin resistance, which is the foundation of most of the the problems, most of the lifestyle diseases that we are facing today, the foundation is insulin resistance, such as diabetes, pre-diabetes, hypertension, hormonal imbalances, sleep disturbances, frequent tiredness or fatigue, and so on. So this concept, the wear and tear the wear and tear of our body is caused by chronic stress. Neuroscience research shows that sleep plays a central role in memory consolidation. So when students say, I am always tired, I cannot concentrate, I'm gaining weight, it may not be laziness, it may not be because they are lazy, it may be because they are undergoing chronic stress. Now, sedentary research lifestyle and lifestyle diseases, most research students, they sit for so long. So our lifestyle is sedentary. We sit for so long at our computer, working on our papers. We have deadlines. We have deadlines for paper submission. We have deadlines for publication. We have deadlines with our supervisors. We eat irregularly. That is very common among postgraduate students. We sleep inconsistently. We move very little. Some of us sit for 4 hours, 5 hours at a stretch on our table. We forget to stand up and move around because of the goal, because of, the goal we are trying to meet, the deadline that is ahead of us. So, this sedentary behavior associated with increased risk of type 2 diabetes, like I said earlier, cardiovascular diseases, and hypertension. Remember, as research students also, we grow daily, we age daily. We're not getting younger, but rather we're getting older. So South Africa already has a growing burden of non-communicable diseases. So as young scholars, this is the time to build, habits, protective habits, not harmful ones. We do not want to finish our degree and, develop lifestyle disease at the age of 35 or 40. So this is the time we need to take action. We need to, reduce prolonged sitting. We need to change our sedentary lifestyle. Our lifestyle, I would say our lifestyle is more sedentary because we do more of studying, we do more of writing than, moving around. Now, what's the way forward? I don't want to take much of our time. I see my time is short, so I just want to go straight to the way forward. Let's focus on the solution. Let's protect our sleep like it's a research grant. Sleep is not laziness. Research shows that sleep improves memory and emotional regulation. We should aim for at least 7 hours minimum of sleep. At least. I've also been in these shoes, so I understand what I'm saying. No matter the deadline that we have, let's be intentional about the hours of sleep that we get in a day. Let's, have consistent sleep and wake time. Let's reduce late night screen exposure. These days, most of us spend long hours, including me, on our phones. So let's be intentional about it. Oh, I've been on my phone for 2 hours. The phone now has a way of reminding us of the number of hours we've spent on it. So we can, I've spent 1 hour on my phone, I've spent 2 hours on my phone. It's time to drop my phone and sleep, because the time we spend on our phone, it's, encroaching into the time we are supposed to use in sleeping. I want to share a personal experience. I came to South Africa in 2017 for my master's study. That was a period during my master's study when I thought, exhaustion was just like a badge of honor. My aim then, because it was a coursework, my aim was to be the best, to get a distinction. I believe that sleeping less meant working harder. But over time, I noticed something troubling. My productivity was declining. My concentration was slower. I was constantly tired. Even after resting, I don't feel well rested. So then I realized later that I was trying to succeed academically while neglecting the very system that supports me, my body. So that was a turning point for me. I began to treat sleep as non-negotiable. I structured my work instead of working endlessly. I became intentional about movement. So interestingly, my academic output improved, and I still ended up meeting my goal, achieving the goal that I set initially. So health is not separate from excellence, it just sustains excellence. The second point I want to talk about is movement. Let's move frequently. You do not need a gym membership, you need consistency. The World Health Organization recommends at least 150 minutes of moderate intensity activity weekly. This translates to about 20 to 30 minutes of brisk walking on most days of the week. Could be 3 or 4 days of the week. You can just decide. Maybe you're working on your research. You just remember that, oh, you need to walk 3 or 4 times this week. You can get up and maybe walk to the mall, or you walk around your hostel or where you stay for 20 minutes. That also takes your eyes away from the screen. So you walk around for 20 or 30 minutes and come back to your desk and continue. If you do this for at least 3 or 4 times a week, not every day, you will be helping yourself. It improves cognitive function and reduces stress. Movement reduces the stress hormone and improves the function of the brain. The second I want to talk about is we should eat for sustainability, not for convenience. Under stress, we crave sugar and caffeine. We all understand that when we are stressed up, we have deadlines, we're working on our papers. To keep us awake, we keep making cups and cups of coffee, making black tea, coffee, so as to stay awake. We crave sugar. For instance, if you take 5 cups of coffee with a spoon of sugar, you've ended up taking 5 spoons of sugar just in one sitting, maybe in the space of 3 or 4 hours. So, unstable blood glucose, this will, lead to insulin resistance, make our blood glucose unstable. It causes brain fog. It causes instability. It causes afternoon crashes, so we need to focus on regular, balanced, or adequate meals. For emphasis, in the morning, let's start our mornings. Let's say breakfast, it depends on when you're taking it, either in the morning or in the afternoon, but let's make sure breakfast is protein packed. By doing this, you reduce the amount of calories or sugar or glucose that you rush into your brain after a period of fasting over the night. Let's make sure that our meals are regular, not that you eat now because you have deadline, then you forget the next meal. You remember at 1 midnight, that is when you are taking your dinner. No, that is wrong. Let's try as much as possible to make it regular. Let's, hydrate. Take water. Remember to take water. Nigeria is very hot, and so nobody reminds us to take water in Nigeria. But here in South Africa, especially during winters, we tend to forget that, we are thirsty or we are hot. So let's make conscious effort. Have a bottle of water beside you when you are studying or working on your research, so that you sip this water from time to time. Reduce excessive energy drinks. So instead of taking this power grade or energy drinks, all these, we know them, Coca-Cola, energy drinks, why not replace it with water? Because now you're taking coffee, you're taking black tea with sugar. So why not replace those drinks with water, so that the number of calories you take at a sitting will be reduced. If you're not okay with ordinary water, you can add some lemon in the water. You can add apple cider vinegar in the water, or you can buy sparkling water. You see, sparkling water tastes like, it's a carbonated water, but it contains no calories. So you can also, go for that. It will help a lot. Are you with me?
Yes, we are, ma'am.
Yeah. So I just want to talk about, research stress is unavoidable. I just want to stress the fact that we cannot avoid it. But unmanaged stress is optional. We should break large tasks into weekly goals. Start, working at your tasks early. Don't wait till the deadline. Set realistic daily output target. Accept, communicate clearly with your supervisors so that you make space for yourself. Do not internalize academic critique as personal failure. Just have this behind your mind that your health is very important. Another point I want to talk about is our mental health. Build one strong support system. Most of us are alone here in South Africa. Our family members are there in Nigeria, and we are lonely. Research has shown that loneliness increases stress and even inflammation. So you do not need many friends. I'm not saying you should be friends with everyone, but you need acquaintances. You need people you can talk to. You need people you can vent to. You need people, at least one person that you can speak to honestly. And peradventure anything happens to you in a case of emergency, you need at least one person that can stand for you. Community protects mental health. As international students, we can also achieve this by, being part of Consuj, being part of NANSA, being part of, student organizations from Nigeria that will help you and make you integrated into the community. This will have a very good impact on our mental health. And I want us to know when to seek help. It's also very important. Let's talk about how to prevent this, to prevent problems while we are studying. We should maintain our weight. Make sure that we are not, we don't eat too much. We eat, adequately as we are supposed to. Just make sure you watch your weight. I'm not saying everyone should look slim. We all are built differently. Some of us have bigger builds, some of us are built in a small way, but we should make sure that we maintain a healthy weight. We should make sure we check our blood pressure routinely. We have the health center in school. If you go there to check your blood pressure, it's free. I don't think we need to pay to do that as students. So we can go there once in a while to check our blood pressure, because diseases like blood pressure, it happens silently. That's why it's called a silent killer. And like I said earlier, we are growing older, we are not growing younger. And remember, the stress of research is also impacting on our health. So we may be fine yesterday, but something may have changed today because of stress. So I just want to enjoin us to check our blood pressure, check our blood sugar level routinely, take daily movement, very intentional. We should try to regulate stress as much as possible. I know we cannot eliminate stress, but we can try to regulate it. And I want us finally to take sleep very seriously, because consistent sleep goes a long way. Like I said earlier, 7 hours of sleep, 20 to 30 minutes of movement. Structure our research so that we don't rush when it gets to the deadline. And finally, we need one meaningful social connection. So in closing, I want to ask these few questions. I don't need an answer from you. I just want you to reflect on it. How many hours do you actually sleep during deadlines? When last did you exercise consistently for 2 weeks? It's not like you remember today, you decided to exercise. Maybe you go play soccer, or you walk to the mall, or you do one form of exercise, and then you forget about it till the next month or till 3 weeks time. So just think about this, ponder on it. When last did you exercise consistently for 2 weeks? Who here has had persistent fatigue but ignored it? Yes, I'm tired. I know that I'm tired. I know that I am stressed up, but I decide to ignore it because, yes, I want to finish this paper. Think about this also. I don't need answer, like I said. I just want you to reflect on these questions and answer them yourselves. In closing, let me leave you with this. Your degree is important, but your health is foundational. You cannot produce sustainable excellence from a chronically exhausted body and mind. Take care of yourself intentionally, move daily, sleep consistently, build community around you, manage stress intentionally. Success is not just about graduating or success is graduating healthily. As students, especially as researchers, we invest years in building intellectual capacities. But intellectual capacity rests on our biological capital. So your brain does not function independent of your body. Your productivity does not exist independent of your emotional stability. So we should know that We can finish our degree exhausted, we can finish our degree hypertensive, we can finish our degree burned out and disconnected, and then we can finish our degree strong. We can finish it, we have a choice. Everything depends on us, how we finish or complete this program we are doing right now. So that is not just about completing, it's about, completing it in good health. Thank you very much for listening.
Wow, thank you, Doc, for
Thank you, Sister.
reminding us. Thank you so much for giving us this health talk and reminding us to take care of ourselves, take care of our body. We really appreciate. So I'm just going to open the floor now to one or two questions for our doc here. And I'll also be sharing a mail in case you want any form of advice or checkup or anything. Can they contact you, ma'am? Can we contact you rather?
Yeah, that's fine. You can contact me. And then I'm here on behalf of the Association of Nigerian Nurses and Midwives in South Africa. And you know that we have been working together since last year. So we are open to, health awareness to programs like the one we had last year. We are open to such programs where we create awareness and, educate the public on how to prevent disease and take care of their health.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. So any questions for our doc? Anybody? Any questions? You can use the chat. You can unmute your mic and speak. Just giving us 30 seconds now to ask our doctor a question. Okay, seems like everyone understood everything that you had shared with us perfectly. So thank you once again, Ma.
You're
Really
welcome.
appreciate
Thank you for
taking the
having
time
me.
to be here. Thank you,
Thank you.
thank you, thank you. Have a great one.
Thank
And
you.
bye. We will be in touch.
Bye.
Good afternoon, good morning everywhere from where we come from. I'm Sister Mir. I also want to thank Dr. Cherry for this wonderful presentation and all the people who are here to listen to it. As part of, I'm the organizing secretary of Association of Nigerian Nurses and Midwives in South Africa. I also want to thank you all, and please let's keep a healthy lifestyle while studying. We want to study and come out with a healthy lifestyle. Want to be part of the graduation program. Don't want to be on that day when we are called. They said you are now late, Miss Somebody. Yeah, that's only what I can say. Thank you all.
Appreciate you. Thank you, Ma, for that addition. Okay, Madam President, Ma, you have the floor.
Good morning, everyone. I don't want to, it's not a question. I think it's just right. I want to appreciate the Association of Nigerian Nurses. Dr. Cherry, thank you so much for always responding. I see that quite a couple of the association members also joined. I saw that our mommy joined, Mrs. Susan Waniko. Thank you very much for your support in the last 1 year. On behalf of Consuj and every Nigerian student here at Johannesburg, I really want to appreciate you. Thank you so very much. We are highly grateful. Thank you, ma'am.
It's a pleasure. Thank you, Consuj.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah. Okay.
Time to time, you can.
Okay. I think she's speaking, but Ma, we can't hear you very audibly.
Okay.
Don't know if it's me or.
Can you hear me now?
It's very faint, but you can go ahead.
Okay. I'm just appreciating the association for working on our daughter share, bring life door are also life givers, and that's why we out in that health is wealth, and all the necessary things to make you stand, to make you succeed, and to have a healthy life. Ready to. And time to time, if we feel that we want to talk to you, even on teams like this, please get with your president so that as this, I believe it. Thank you so much for having us. Thank you, Dr. Kerry, presenting us well, our organizing secretary. Thank you so much. Thank the management or the executive of Consuj. We are grateful and we love you. Have a lovely.
Okay, that was from Mrs. Susan Waniko. Thank you everyone for being here, for taking the time to be here on afternoon like this. So far, we've had conversations, we've had talks, sessions from academic writing to immigrations to health. As a society, just really shows how much we care for you, we care for your well-being, we care to see your all-round success. I would like to take these few seconds to ask us to, because there was a handbook, there was a handbook that was shared very early in the year. We'll be sharing it again. The executives put something together for the returning students and for the new students, a book where some of these things you can just read them up, and yeah, we'll be sharing it again after this meeting. You can go into the details, you can go into the books and get more detail. So our last speaker for today, and then we can call it a day, it's been an insightful time here, is no other person than, let me share my screen. And
Madam Jensek, please, can you hear me?
yes, ma'am.
Okay, so I think it's also important that we get to know each other just lightly. So I would part of the program, it's a networking section. However, even though we have a virtual meeting, I think it's just important that we get to know a few. I see a few names that I'm not sure I've even met or heard before. So I think we should just have a brief introduction section, just your name, your course, and probably your institution, so that if I want someone to write with UP or UKZ, then a few names can pop up in my head. So I think we should just have that in the next 5-10 minutes before we go to the last section.
Okay. Thank you, Madam President Ma, for that. So we can utilize the chat box, or we can also unmute our mics to introduce ourselves. You can meet your collaborator here, you can meet your friend here. Please introduce yourself in the chat, what you study, your name, when did you arrive, how are you finding the experience. Let's interact via the chat box, or someone can speak using their mic. I can speak using their mic. I can introduce myself to you. I can start. So my name is Toluani Ogwade. I am a doctoral student in construction management, and I'm also the general secretary for Consuj. It's nice to meet everyone here. Somebody else, I've set the ball rolling. Please do not drop the ball. Okay, nobody's talking to me. I feel alone here. It seems like everybody already knows each other.
Hello.
Yes, please go ahead.
Hello everyone. I'm not a student, so I just happened to have been sent this link because I was trying to find out information about the students and Nigerian students in South Africa. My name is Professor Catherine Egbe. I work with the South African Medical Research Council as a chief specialist scientist. I work in the mental health, alcohol, substance use, and tobacco research unit. But my main research focus is tobacco research. So I did my PhD here in UKZN in 2010. That's like a long time ago, but I was very happy to join and hear some of the talks. I joined quite late, or a bit late, past 11. And I must say I enjoyed some of the talks, even though I know they were not directed to me as a professional. But I really think that when I was a student, I don't think we never had this, although we had ourselves to talk to and give tips to ourselves. But I think this is a very good forum, and congratulations to the organizers. And I think you guys must keep it up. And I do public health research. And if you have any issues and you're doing public health, especially if it's on substance use or tobacco, feel free to reach out to me. If you're a PhD student or a postdoc and you want to talk and you want to learn more about research, feel free to reach out to me. My email is catherine.egbe@mrc.ac.za. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much, ma'am. I'm trying to write your email down. If you can come again with your email, so I put it in the chat box for everybody to see, and anyone that would. Catherine.
I'll add it on the chat.
Okay, thank you. Okay, thank you so much, Ma, for that. I appreciate you taking your time to be here. We have someone in the chat box says, Temidayo, doctoral student, fresh. Department of Biotechnology, University of Johannesburg. Lovely to meet you, Ma. You are welcome. You're welcome. I'm going to be tempted to call names. Just you can use the chat or you can introduce yourself, since this is supposed to be our networking session, our collaboration session. You can make a friend or two here. Okay. Mr. Yisa Esso, University of Johannesburg, doctoral students physics, third year, Department of Physics. Thanks to the organizers. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you. I see somebody's name here. I don't know if I can call. We have Adeni Odun Ayo. If you can introduce yourself in the chat, what do you do? What are you studying? Are you a lecturer? Something. Say something to us, please. Okay. I'm going to mention someone else's name. We have Ajibola Oyedeji. Yeah, you need to tell us your program. If you want to even also drop your email, is also fine. Yeah, so that we can connect with you. Okay, now we have someone here. We have Latif Uthman Sahid, fresh doctoral student, Department of Biotechnology, UGDSC. Nice, awesome. I feel like you have a classmate here. Temida is also in your program. You guys can reach out, connect, and start speaking research, speaking challenges, speaking on different things. Let's keep it rolling. Let's keep it rolling, colleagues. Let's keep it rolling. We have spirits, guests. That's a wonderful name. But we also have Opeolua Akinredowo. Yes, sir, you can go on spirits.
Yeah, good morning, everyone. Wonderful event. Thank you so much to the organizers. God's grace. My name is Awola Oluwatoyin. I work at the Department of Physics on campus. Did my master's at UJ. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir, for being here. Any physics people? I think we have, yes, Mr. Isas from physics. So if you'd like to connect, please, you have someone here for you. University of Johannesburg. Okay, PhD electrical and electronics engineering. Okay. We have Dr. Mojid Olalekan, if I got that correctly. Dr. Mojid. We have Daniel Oluyemi. Yeah. Okay. Thank you, everyone. We are trying to make sure we end by 12:30. We have had such an insightful time today. It's been awesome, awesome, awesome. You took your time. You came here to be a part of what we are doing here. You listened, you took notes, you've made friends, you know one or two names now. Whenever you need something, you know who to talk to. We appreciate you for making our annual orientation a success. So without wasting time, I would like to introduce our Consuj president, Dr. Oluwadamilola, to just come and give us closing remarks and probably end our orientation session. Ma, over to you.
Good afternoon, everyone. And thank you once again for joining us. Although I know we hijacked a little bit of our vow period, but it's I think it's worth it. It's good to share love among ourselves and to keep informed while we're sharing love. So I think it's a good day. I want to appreciate everyone for joining. Our last speaker, Mrs. Lebang Ayobiojo, would not be able to join us because of a little glitch. However, I'm sure some other time we would have speak to us on community engagement for those who would be willing, as it should, to give back to the society. The whole idea is for us to get information on ideas on how we can give back to this country or the society that is currently housing us. So I know would reach out to every one of us for a reschedule of when she would be available to join us. That being said, once again, I want to appreciate everyone. NANSA President James, thank you very much. Dr. Kwe Akinradewu, thank you so much. And Professor Egbe, I'm excited that you are here. I would reach out to you personally. I feel we would have a couple of things to do together for Consuj though. So thank you very much, ma, for joining us. Okay, for Dr. Iyola's contact, I would speak to her if it's okay to share personal contact. However, if we need to reach out to the Association of Nigerian Nurses, I'll just drop the email. Or let me ask you, Dr. Iyola, are you still here? If she's still here, let me ask if it's okay to share a personal contact. But like I said, if we need to reach out to the Association of Nigerian Nurses, we can reach them at Anmisa. Just type in the chat box, and she would reply promptly. So I think from there, she can give anyone a personal contact if she would love to do that. So I'm currently dropping the association email. Yeah, so I dropped the Association of Nigerian Nurses mail on the chat box now for those of us who would like to reach out, and I can assure you they would respond properly. She would respond properly to that. So thank you once again for joining us. Thank you so much, Dr. Tim. Thank you so much for being here. And our mommy, Mrs. Waniko, thank you so much for always being here with us. With that, I think we have come to the end of the program. I would like to give NANSA President a few minutes if there's something he needs to say again before we call it a day for today. Thank you so much, Madam Jensek. I think from here we can round up. Am I audible, please?
Yes, you are audible. President James, sir, any final words from the high authorities up there so that we can end the meeting? Sir, in case you're speaking, you're still muted. But if there's none from you, we can end the meeting. Okay, I don't think he's connected with us. Or on this note, our meeting, our annual orientation meeting is adjourned. I'm wishing everyone here a successful academic year in research, in settling in balancing your health, work, and every area of your life. The next time that there would be an orientation, maybe in the next year, you would come with so much wonderful experience to share with the association. It will be good news for each and every one of us here. Amen. Best wishes and regards. Thank you all for joining. You may now go ahead and enjoy the rest of your weekend and your Valentine. Bye, everyone. Thank you.